If you're a woman over 40 and you've been feeling a quiet shift, this is for you. Today, I want to read something I wrote recently called The Career Pivot No One But You Sees Coming. Because sometimes a pivot is not about failure, it's about success that no longer fits. You built the career, you earned the credibility, secured the income, so why even consider disrupting something that works? Why risk the comfort of competence for the uncertainty of reinvention? Because something in you knows it's time. In September of 2020, my dear friend Lisa interviewed me on her podcast, It's Your Season. In that conversation, I spoke out loud what had only been forming quietly in my heart. I described my vision for a framework called Launch. I talked about the women I felt called to serve, experienced, capable, brilliant. Women who had built careers, led teams, carried families, and quietly knew they wanted more than their careers were delivering. Back then, Launch was a vision, a back of the napkin dream I was brave enough to say out loud before I knew how it would all come together. Lisa saw it beautifully before it was built. She gave me belief when my idea was still fragile. She embodied the very woman this path was meant for. Her trust mattered more than she probably realized. Around the same season of reflection, I had the privilege of serving as associate producer on the Pioneers and Skirts movie, a documentary film about women and ambition, led by director Ashley Maria and producer Leanne Burst. The film went on to receive global recognition as an Emmy nominated documentary and earned multiple film festival awards. In 2021, it was featured as a parallel event at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, reaching more than 10,000 women worldwide. In 2024, it screened at South by Southwest EDU and later aired nationally on PBS. The world leaned in. Women paid attention. We interviewed women who had made it, CEOs, women with seats at the board table, even Brigadier General Heidi V. Brown, who at the time held senior command responsibility within our nation's nuclear defense enterprise. On paper, they had arrived, but we weren't interested in their titles. We wanted to see their maps. The patterns were striking: cultural bias, quiet self doubt, the slow erosion of ambition through expectation and exhaustion. This was not just research, it was lived experience unfolding in real time. Listening to these women, watching their stories, understanding the resilience required to do it anyway, it wove itself into my belief system. The women I was meant to serve, they weren't beginners. They were women who had survived systems that chipped away at them, and they still chose ambition. Women over 40, the Gen Xers, the boomers, you especially know what that means. You know what it feels like to carry experience and still be underestimated, to succeed and still feel unfinished, to achieve and still want more. That lived dialogue gave me the confidence that I was speaking to the right audience. Women who did it anyway. At the same time, this film was traveling and igniting conversation. The workplace itself was shifting beneath our feet. In 2021 alone, more than 47 million Americans voluntarily left their jobs. In 2022, over 50 million. It wasn't a trend, y'all. It was a reckoning. Women, particularly mid career women, exited at disproportionately high rates as burnout, inflexible systems, caregiving pressure, and a deep reevaluation of purpose collided. And many women finally asked the question out loud: is this it? Is this all there is? Now, more than 60% of new businesses are being started by women over 40. women with experience, women with networks, women with degrees, credentials, and decades of lived leadership. And yet, 1 in 5 new businesses fail within the first year. The ambition is there, the courage is there, the timing is there, but what was missing? The map. These women did not need motivation. They needed structure. They needed strategy. They needed a framework that translated their experience into visibility, leverage, and sustainable growth. That is why Innovate Launch exists. Creating visibility doesn't happen overnight. You build it intentionally, strategically, patiently. In her book Kick Ass, Mel Robbins talks about tough love coaching that begins with one requirement. You must own your story. Then you rebuild. And you don't just rebuild, you rebuild strong, with purpose, with passion. She describes making quantum leaps by time traveling forward, anchoring yourself to the future version of you. Not everyone's ready for a quantum leap of faith, but that's exactly what I did in September of 2020. I spoke from the future at my inaugural From Invisible to Unstoppable event recently. I asked each woman to write her why on the whiteboard. One said, freedom to be me. Another said, a freedom funded future. And then a legacy for my children, an extraordinary life lived authentically, financial freedom, and family time. There is a pattern here. And it's not about chasing income for ego, it's about reclaiming time, moving from transactional time to passion driven time. It, it is dreams looking for a map. And that is what Innovate Launch is. So, if you've been quietly feeling that nudge, and if you want more, but you can't yet see the steps, if you're ready to own your story and build visibility with intention instead of just hope, this is your next move. Join the Launch VIP community. Innovate Launch is not just a framework, it's a map. A map with women traveling at different points along the route with you, all with the goal of making that pivot work and bringing their entrepreneurial dreams to fruition. If you're ready to move from invisible to intentionally visible, the door's open. Follow me here and then join the Launch VIP community. Women in transition, seeking community, here is your invitation. Get the map. I'm Suzette, and I want you to join me, and I'll see you on the inside. Take care.